Welcome back to In Your City Show. We've got a great hot list guest with us right now, and they were talking and talking and talking about all these great things. Like, okay, let's get going here and hear about this stuff.
Talk about it now
on camera, right? So, welcome to the show, Ryan Mustone. Mustone? Let's say it your way.
Mustone.
Mustone. I'm like
Mustone.
Mustone.
You gotta do it like Mustone. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
I'm like Ryan Mustone. He's like Mustone.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you here
you
on the
too.
show and talk about your store, Nutrition Stop. But it was kind of cool. You guys were talking beforehand, and really shows. First of all, Gordon's like cool pants, and you're like, yeah, I just got back from Hawaii, and I got those while I was there, and you know, you really live the life behind your business, the Nutrition Stop. You started talking about, which I'm so fascinated with this and can't wait to hear about it. But Gordon asked you about your pants, and you're like, I just got back from Hawaii, and you were doing some farming there. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and what it brings to your stores?
Well, I have done some farming in Hawaii, and this recent trip I did do a few volunteer days, but we were talking about 10 years ago, I did spend some time there doing volunteer work, bouncing around on different organic farms. This time was leisure. I have a friend there, so I played a little bit and had some fun, and I did do bounce around on farms and learned a lot about taro this time, which they call kala.
Which is what?
It's a root. It's it's a root, sort of like a potato, sort of like a yam, but not at all. It's its own thing, but it's very nourishing, and has different compounds. You know, that have longevity qualities, antioxidants, and it's a really good starch and fiber and such. So it's a staple in Hawaiian culture.
How hard is it to go out to eat or to go into other stores when you have the knowledge that you have of health food and organic and micro-crafted superfoods and all these things?
It's too much sometimes. It's too much to really have some of the information I have in my head, especially, I don't know, I'm like really dialed into the omega-3 and 6 conversation, because we're all collectively getting bombarded with omega-6s from all the different nuts and seed oils, and that really our body just uses those to promote inflammation virtually everywhere. It's just a signaling process that those fats.
Wait a minute.
I need to double, triple up, and quadruple up on that. Anything that's inflammatory, anti-inflammatory.
Wait a minute. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. You're very dialed in right now to omega-3s and 6s.
Well, it's been something I've been trained on. I've been in this industry for a while, so I've just seen a lot of the science showing what happens when we have elevated amounts of omega-3s in the body.
That's what I heard him say, and then when your comment back, it wasn't, I needed to clarify and make sure, because you're saying we're doing too much of it with all of the
we're
seeds.
We're getting a lot of the nuts, grains, and seeds are just really dominant omega-6. It's not a bad fat, it's just the ratios are really far out of whack, and our bodies use those fats to produce inflammation. That's just one of the primary
That's what I heard, and that's what really got me, because we're being told all the time, eat more of this, eat more of this, because it promotes health, and you need the fat, but too much can promote inflammation.
It's just getting, like flaxseed, chia seeds, fish oil, algae, all these different, those are all rich in omega-3s, so it's just going to help like counteract the omega-6s that we are getting. And the importance of, within the conversation of beef and cattle and chicken and such, making sure they're pasture raised and they're eating grass, and fully eating a grass-rich diet, because they're going to be more rich in omega-3s, because if they feed them the nuts and grains that they feed a lot of the conventional, especially beef, then it's going to be even more omega-6 in them.
So at your store, you brought some really great items to talk about. This is fascinating right here looking at this.
I thought it was a table piece.
and you're
really
catching,
so cool. It is at our home sometimes.
And you're catching my attention with things you're saying. Do you actually have, like, at your store, the opportunity for education?
We do. We actually, this coming Tuesday, we're going to have an education piece. One of the companies is coming by and teaching a lecture on heart health and different ways to mitigate blood sugar and A1C
I do need
levels.
to be there.
That'll be this coming Tuesday, and then we have a few other things lined up.
So do we go on to the Nutrition Stop website to be able to see special events or educators that you have in there to help?
Yeah, nutritionstop.com. There's an events tab. I think that's what it is, the events tab, and it should have a calendar on there. And then Facebook also, there's usually an event created on there, because it's easy to use and user friendly.
very cool.
And
so,
it's in your city.
yeah, of
in
course,
your
it's
city
in
magazine
our
with a QR code that takes you right to the events page.
Yeah.
So we're looking at these things. Tell us a little bit of a reason why you picked those. Can we start with this, because that one I can't quit staring at. And what the heck? It looks like a flower arrangement of tulips.
It's mushrooms.
Those are some pretty mushrooms.
They're gray oyster mushrooms. We work
Is there a
with.
smell?
They probably smell like dirt or earth.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, they're really flavorful. Dice them up, a little bit of garlic and butter. They're really outstanding flavor. Really good culinary use. Really good flavor.
Did you grow that? Are those in your store like pods like that, or how are we purchasing them?
We purchase them from a farm nearby us. The gentleman's farm. His name is the company is called Mushrooms Naturally. He has a whole warehouse. He does it from the whole start, out of the back end of the warehouse of making mushrooms.
And then we can get this at your store like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can get this whole kit if we wanted to, but we usually get, we cut these up into 4-ounce little options, and you can just buy packaged 4-ounce bits of it. I just brought this because it's so pretty to cool and see how it grows and such.
And
how close we are to the connection,
and this looks different than the regular mushroom you'd see at the grocery store, the little round brown
like
capped or something.
Little Bella mushrooms.
Yeah, very different. What is the difference of that kind and the other? Is there? I mean, obviously there is, but I mean.
I think they're all going to have a little bit of vitamin D in them, and then each mushroom is probably going to have a different amount of beta-glucans in them. That's the immune-enhancing properties, and then that's going to vary depending on the mushroom. So like maitake, shiitake, those are going to have the highest amounts of the beta-glucans, which are a little bit more immune-enhancing.
Never have I walked down the aisle and went, I need this, I'm going to get my beta-glucans.
Yeah, beta-glucans. It's
you don't have that much knowledge.
It's a dialed-in term, but it's becoming more common these days.
You sprayed yourself with that bottle there. What's that?
That's something I'm pretty passionate about, really. These are what they call hydrosols.
Okay.
It's the co-distillate from when you make essential oils out of a hydrodistillation. Use a big copper chamber, a big copper still. You line that copper still with plant matter, light a fire under it and water, and then it steams and captures rose geranium, for instance. That's what this one is. And the steam goes up and captures all the volatile essences and aromatic properties of the plant. So it goes up, steam goes through a cooling rack and turns back into water. And as it cools, out of that process comes these waters they call hydrosols. And over time, the essential oils will collect on the top.
And what does it do for you?
It's hydrating on the skin is really what it is.
I'm going to zap him.
It smells really good.
Is he going to turn into another person?
Maybe.
Look at him squint his eyes like a little.
No, but it smells
He's
great.
like this. He was talking, just spraying himself, and Gordon's like all battened down.
Really nice. Well,
that smells wonderful.
That's what
We're gonna
I
have
do.
to get that.
Yeah, it works really well. It's good at just putting more moisture in the skin. The skin is 60 to 70% water, so directly putting moisture into the skin. But ideally, what I've done for years is use these oils and waters together, and they mix. Oil and water do mix from the heat in our hands, and then you would massage that into the face, and it's literally feeding the skin moisture. You don't have to use any lotions in there. There's not any preservatives. There's not any waxes.
The face just got radiant.
And that's why
it does that.
Yeah.
So it's reestablishing the protective barrier called the acid mantle. You should try some, Gordon. You want to try a little bit?
All right, let's do it.
I think you really like it. It is a roast.
Just a little bit.
All right. But it is the magic of mixing them. So the skin secretes. Go ahead and mix them together and then press it in. The skin secretes sweat and sebum, or water and oil. Now get it really, press it in there. Press it in there.
Don't.
All right. It'll be good.
Oh, there you go.
But it's making and replacing this acid mantle, which is the skin's
Look, you look 10 years
system.
younger.
Wow. I feel 10 years
Skin's
younger.
flushing, and it looks really good.
Yeah, look at the color
jacks.
that you have right now. That's great.
Really? No, really. Like
No, it really does.
It brings it immediately brings
look
more
like you were out in the sun
circulation to
just now or
skin.
whatever. Yeah.
And this barrier allows the pores to open, so your skin's having an exchange with the environment right now, and it's adapting to the environment. So
the way he talks, it's so educational and informational. It's like.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now, you can just tell this is the man you need to go see for all your nutrition needs. I'm just telling you. I mean, I learn something every day. I go into the store.
When he came home from the store, and
all the time.
he was talking about the product and what it did, and everything was fabulous. And you even have beef in there, and that was amazing. We had
the seafood, by the way, that we got was amazing.
Isn't that great seafood?
Yeah.
It's really like, it's a kind of an unbeknownst, just this little brand there. But yeah, their quality is really like, if you're on the coast, it's really, really
It's also
unmatched.
not intimidating when you go in your store. It's very personal. Yeah, no, you can go into places and it's just, you're overwhelmed with just, it's just too much. And you go in there and you just really have a great selection of everything needed to keep a healthy, nutritional home. And so
let's back up a little bit too, because before you own, so how long have you owned Nutrition Stop?
Right at just 2 weeks and, or I'm sorry, 2 years and like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Right,
2 years
and it's
2
been
weeks.
around since
1986.
But what did you do before that?
I was in outside sales and education, so I sold all of this kind of stuff into health food stores. And
you have the knowledge, which is so important. I want people to know that, because you have such a great knowledge of all the products and what they do.
Yeah.
And I did work at the store for 3 years and years ago before all that happened too. So I got a good base.
And this is just a very, very small selection that's on the table of some of your favorites. Just being able to show the types of items that you have, but you have I should say a great deal more. Of course, we can't see your frozen
So what do we have
foods
here?
and
Because it
things
looks like
that.
an Easter basket ready to.
Well, I think we can see what's on there as our favorite.
And you were talking about this before we came on the show.
The Cadia brand, let's talk about pasta and pasta sauce. But
I'm a pasta guy.
It's good. It's
I'm
really
Mustone.
good.
I guess you are too.
Yeah, I am. And we have a lot of pasta. We have a lot of pasta and pasta sauce in our store. But this brand Cadia works with little mom and pop shops like us, and we've got this little program going on with them and our distributor that it's allowed us to have really affordable staples that are organic. So things like this, we should have some of the best prices in town on organic staples. So if you come to our store, look for the Cadia brand. It's our everyday, just low value commodity brand that's organic and really,
you made a statement once that if you can't pronounce it, it's probably not good for you. Tell me about that.
I guess there's some variations within that. Sometimes they are vitamins and minerals that might be those, but there's oftentimes, especially if you look to foods that are very, very colorful, and they're really synthetic.
And those that big ingredient line,
big ingredient lines in there. You're like, it's not food, and there's numbers behind it, and I don't know.
Anytime it says acid, I'm like, okay, that's probably not good for me. Citric acid or whatever, just anytime it says.
All the fillers and that go into the products, and that's what you pride yourself on, is obviously nutritional items. Well, we appreciate everything that you've brought in today to show us. We know that by coming into the Nutrition Stop, we're going to be able to be educated and knowledgeable on what's right for our body, and everyone's different as well depending on their needs. But the best, and they say stay to the outside, but you have the nutritional forces of those in the middle.
Yeah, and we're just trying to dial in really good sourcing. We don't have a lot of everything, but what we have is just trying to find the best what we can within that category.
Now, are you from St. Louis?
I grew up out in St. Charles, St. Peter's area.
So before we end our segment with you, as a child, what would have been your favorite place to dine? It may not be healthy. You're a kid.
As a kid
growing up, what do you remember as your favorite place?
Oh, man. It's a chain, but forgive me. I loved going to the old spaghetti factory when I was a kid downtown.
Oh yeah,
that's a fun one.
That was fun.
It was kind of magical going in there, wasn't it?
Sitting
when you were
in the train
a kid?
car.
Yeah.
And Lewis and Clark in Old Town St. Charles was always fun. Getting like a
club
sandwich.
Which is still there, which is great as well. It's nice to know that actually people are actually saying their favorite is restaurants that are still thriving
White
today.
chili is still very good.
You got your favorite.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Mustone, he is the owner of Nutrition Stop with your wife as well. And so please stop in there, take a look at the website, see what they have to offer, and start changing. It's never too late to start changing your way of living to bring some nutrition home, right?
That's right.
And if you have a nutrition question, I'm sure he can answer it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, we'll be back with another Hot List guest on In Your City Show.